Hello, let us discuss question number 11 from the Indian Economic Service 2023 paper 3, right? So this question is about the interest rate of return and the net present value. So this is from financial economics, right? So the question is we have to distinguish between internal rate of return, that is IRR, and net present value, that is NPV criteria of evaluating public investment projects, right? And also we have to talk about the role of shadow price in this context. So सबसे पहले let us define what is internal rate of return and net present value, right? So ये जो दोनों है ये दोनों ही किस particular measurement के लिए use किया जाता है to evaluate the financial viability and desirability of the investment, यानी कि investment करना चाहिए कि नहीं, profit होगा कि नहीं. So for that, okay. But दोनों का जो objective है that is quite different and accordingly they have different meaning of the shadow prices. So one by one let us discuss, right? So सबसे पहले let us discuss IRR, that is our interest rate return, right? So what is this? This is basically the discount rate at which the present value of cash inflow equals the present value of cash outflows, right? Inflow yani ki getting, outflow means going outside, right? That is expenses. So it is the rate at which the project breaks even, resulting in NPV of 0, even in the sense not a profit, not a loss. Overall the net value that is equals to 0. Okay, so how can we calculate it? So basically the discount rate is first calculated and then we find out IRR, right? Now NPV, what is NPV? NPV, that is the difference between the present value of cash flow and present value of cash outflow. Okay, so if the net contribution of the project to wealth creation, right? So this is calculated by discounting all the cash flows using a predetermined discount rate. So at a particular discount rate, it is calculated, and what it is, difference between the cash inflow and the cash outflow, right? So this one is about the definition and calculation. So let us take how using this we can actually decide whether to invest or not. So that is the decision rule. So for IRR, so the decision rule states that if IRR is greater than the required rate of return, the project is acceptable, right? So if IRR is greater than the required rate of return of the discount rate, that means of course the return is higher, there will be profit, so it is financially viable and it can be invested in the particular project. And in case of NPV, the decision rule is that if the NPV is positive, then the project should be accepted, because obviously we know NPV is what? Difference between inflow and outflow. And if NPV is positive, that means cash inflow is more than the cash outflow, correct? So that is profit. So of course, it is a profitable investment. So investment is viable, so it is acceptable, right? So it is adding value, that is why. So this is how the decision is made. Now if we talk about the context of shadow price, so shadow price is what? Different economic values that is assigned to inputs or outputs, right? That do not have market prices, okay? Not according to the market price, but in order to compare, right? In let's say opportunity cost of one for the other. So that is not exactly the market price we are talking about, but opportunity cost is, losing a chance, right, of using something or substituting something. So that is how we define shadow price. Okay, so shadow price are used to capture basically the opportunity cost of resource. Means if resource is used in production of A, then of course for production of B you have to sacrifice its use because resources are limited. So that is opportunity cost, and let's say shadow price. In that sense it is the shadow price and not the market price. So what is it in IRR? So in IRR, it does not explicitly consider the shadow prices. It simply focuses on the internal cash flows of the project and does not account for the external cost or benefit. So it just determines how much is the inflow and whether there will be benefit or not from it, right? And in case of the net present value, So it is basically determined by assigning economic values to the inputs or outputs and are not priced in the market, right? So in the NPV, it captures the economic cost and benefit of the project, providing more comprehensive evaluation. So this is the basically role of shadow price. So in order to basically understand the alternative use, substitution, opportunity cost, etc., and that is the shadow price in this context.